Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the 2021 year ahead forecast for life path number 336. That's master number 336. 33s, I would suggest going ahead and listening to the reading on for life path number 6 as well, because that is truly your life path number. The 33 energy is simply an extension of that energy. So before I get into the reading, I just want to mention, of course, this is a general reading. If you would like a personal reading, then please book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. So 33s. So 2021 is a 5 universal energetic year. And what we mean by that is basically collectively, we will be feeling the influences of that 5 energy throughout the year. So if I could come up with a way to describe what I'm feeling for the energies of 2021, it's really this idea of exploration from the ashes. And what I mean by that is 2020 was a 4 universal year. And we saw a lot of deconstruction, a lot of falling of the systems, of the beliefs, of the institutions, of the parts of the patriarchy, of things that were faulty that needed to fall. We saw quite a bit of crumbling of that, and we went through a lot of changes and transformations in that 4 year. And the purpose of that was, of course, to dismantle anything that wasn't working or that wasn't sustainable. And so as we move into this 5 energetic year, we're going to be seeing this energy of it being more about exploration, okay? Like open fields, getting out there, wanting our freedom, freedom to explore, just really getting our hands in all the pots and getting, our hands dirty and letting life be a little bit messy as we explore all the options, all the perspectives, all of the ideas before we choose, what we want to rebuild, how we want to rebuild, and who we want to rebuild with. And so I think I don't necessarily see that we're going to build in this year very much, just because it's 5 energy and there's so much change that's associated with 5 energy that it's kind of difficult to build on moving or shifting sand, right? And so yeah, I feel like this year is really going to be about the exploration, moving towards the decision of what we want to build or rebuild, okay? So again, I do feel like we'll see change and redirects this year. I think that it's going to be more supportive. I don't think it's going to be quite as intense as it was in 2020. I think it's going to be more about we're exploring and we're, picking up the pieces, and maybe the universe redirects us in a different way than where we're headed, right? And so it's kind of like a gentle movement as opposed to a tower energy where it's just like complete catastrophic dismantling, right? So it's more about like if you were going to go and see an interior designer and they're going to, you might see something that you really like, and they're going to gently assist you in helping you to find what matches your decor or what works best in this situation, okay? So I feel like that energy is coming from the universe, that shifting. And so again, it feels much more gentle, but I would be prepared for changes and redirections. That's just a standard when it comes to 5 energy. So, but I do feel like they're going to be very assisting in nature, okay? And then a big theme this year is going to be to continue to find your balance, continue to find your equilibrium, okay? Be mindful of the extremes, the chaos, the, unrest, that sort of thing. I don't anticipate that's going anywhere anytime soon, and I don't think we ever are released from the extremes. But we're always able to work towards finding our equilibrium and our balance and coming back to our own truth. And once we find that, then when we move out of that, when we fall out of that, then we're able to recognize it and then move back into it. And so I feel like this year is going to be a lot about that, being mindful of not allowing others to fully influence you, not being manipulated by others' agendas, that sort of thing, and really standing true to yourself and within your own wisdom and your your own knowing as you continue to move forward and as you continue to explore before you decide exactly how you want to rebuild. Okay? So I pulled an animal spirit card to kind of get an idea of the overall energy for 2021, specifically for Life Path 33s. And I love this for you all. I love it. I think it sums it up beautifully. You all got Emu Spirit, and Emu is saying, this is a good time to go on a new adventure. And that sums it up, because that is really 5 energy. 5 energy is all about wanting its freedom, wanting to go on an adventure, wanting to see something new, wanting to experience something new, wanting to see all of its options before it makes a decision. Now, the flip side of that is sometimes that can lead to an extreme and, overextension or excessive living or whatever. And so again, it's about finding that balance and, still making sure that you're keeping up with, your obligations in life and all that, of course. But I do feel like there's this freeing energy for 33s this year, where it's going to be more about you exploring, you getting to play, you getting out there and just letting your creative energy soar, and just, again, just letting your hair down and getting your hands dirty. And I kind of equate it to, when you're a kid and you finger paint, right? Like just really getting in it. You know what I mean? Sometimes you end up with it all over yourself. But that's kind of the energy of this year. And you're meant to find the joy in that and find the fun, okay? And while you're doing that, what you'll see is the insights come flooding in. So let's look at January. So January, we have this energy of, it's really this kind of feeling of a shift of energy into just really jovial, really childlike, connecting to your inner child, celebrating some kind of, if something has come to fruition for you, it feels very light, it feels joyful, it feels like you're being celebrated or you're celebrating an accomplishment. So this feels like a big win for 33s, okay? Emotionally, in the physical, all that. And so really embrace this. And this could come in, again, in a myriad of ways, because this is a general reading, but there's just cause for celebration. And I really like that. It's almost like the energy shifts a little bit for 33s, where it's like it felt a little heavier. Obviously, I think we all felt that in 2020 for them, in some areas. But it's almost like this shift in January, like a release. And so there's cause for celebration in that. And there's also this sense of celebrating something that has come to fruition for you. So some kind of an accomplishment, something you've worked hard for, which is lovely. So I love that for 33s. And then we move into February, and it's interesting. There is this really strong energy coming in around giving and receiving. But what is really coming in, and I know I kind of harp on this a lot with 33 and 6s, but it's really much more about receiving, or at least that's what I'm feeling, is that it's around you learning to be comfortable with receiving support, gifts, money, whatever, from another. And you may have opportunities this week to be in that kind of a situation where you need to ask for help, you need to receive help in some way, and that can feel uncomfortable for you, but you're meant to move through that uncomfortableness. You're meant to experience that so that you can understand that, it's meant to be a two-way street. It's meant to be, a give and take. It's, that's how the energy moves. And so it's not just all about you giving, okay, 33s? It's not just about you always giving. Now, on the flip side of that, it could be that you have been receiving, just to an extreme, and it is time for you to step up and give to another. That's not generally the case with 33s. I mean, we're human, but you guys are so giving. That's just such a big part of your nature that I really do feel like for the majority of you, that which comes in will be sort of the lessons or the challenges around you finding acceptance with, and not shame with, receiving. So there are going to be, I believe, people who are going to show up for you that want to do for you in ways, where they're not doing it looking for any, ulterior motive. There's no ulterior motive. They're not doing it for any other reason than out of the goodness of their heart. And remember, when others give and we openly receive and graciously receive, that brings them joy without us even doing anything except for openly receiving with an open heart, right? So we're allowing them to feel the joy that is associated with giving. And you know that joy, right? When you're giving and it's not out of obligation, but you're giving out of the greatness, graciousness of your own heart, there's a lot of joy associated with that. And so why would we, not allow somebody else to experience that joy by giving to us? So I do feel like there's this energy around that of sort of receiving. So however that shows up for you, but it could feel uncomfortable at first for you, but that's the plan. You're meant to feel uncomfortable so that you can move, find a way to be comfortable in that experience. Okay. And then we move into March, and it's interesting. There's this kind of really solid communication coming in for you, solid clarity. It just really feels very definitive, very decisive. So it's kind of like a lightning strike is kind of what I'm seeing, like a lightning bolt. It's like it just comes in really quickly. It's really profound, and it just opens up your vantage point immensely. So you're able to see much more clearly on whatever this is. So yeah, pay attention to what comes in for you. I feel like it's going to come in quickly. I feel like it's going to be, again, very definitive. And sometimes when those messages come in for us, it's not always the message we want to hear or message we want to see. So there may be some level of discomfort there, but it's going to feel almost like a relief. Like it's going to be able to give you some closure that you were waiting on. And it's going to kind of move you back into your own equilibrium, right? And so again, just stay open to what comes in, understand that the message is for your highest good. And even if it doesn't look the way that you wanted it to look or anticipated or expected it to look, it's looking the way it needs to look. Okay. So the information is coming in to help you, not to hinder you. But yeah, it feels very, like I said, very definitive. So it's almost, it could also come in for you like you need to make a decision at this point, and it feels very like urgent to make that decision. And if you feel like you have everything that you need to be able to make that decision, or there is that urgency to it, then there's a sense that you are able to make a very definitive decision and feel balanced in that decision and confident in that decision, and you're able to move forward. So if there's some clarity that you were seeking, or you were waiting for some information before you made this very important decision, I feel like that's going to come in for you in March, and you're able to make that decision. And it feels very, very like, it feels like a closure, but then also like a very definitive closure, you know what I mean? Where you feel like you had a say in it. So yeah, it feels good. It feels light, but it feels very, again, definitive is the word that keeps coming up. So and then we move into April, and we have this energy of something in the past resurfacing for you that maybe in the past the timing was off, but now the timing is right. And so this could be a person, place, or thing where before, maybe even an idea or an inspiration that in the past you just didn't have everything that you needed to make it work, but now it's resurfacing and you do have everything that you need to make it work. So again, this year being so much about exploration, it's not uncommon to see things resurfacing that didn't work prior, but now we have more space to be able to explore, and it makes more sense for them to work, if that makes sense. So it could be a relationship, it could be a job resurfacing, a contract, something like that. But it does really kind of feel like some kind of idea that you had in the past that you wanted to implement, but you didn't have everything you need, or the timing was off and it just didn't feel right. But now all of a sudden it feels right. So yeah, pay attention to what comes into you from the past. Could come in through dreams, that sort of thing too. But it definitely feels something like you're revisiting it. And it doesn't feel like one of those things, some things in the past need to be left in the past. This doesn't feel like that. This feels like an energy of the past. It was just a timing issue, and now it's much more aligned. So then we move into May, and it's interesting. It's almost like whatever comes in for you in April is leading you to some pretty incredible abundance coming in May. And so again, this is a general reading, so this won't be for everybody, but there is definitely an energy of abundance. That can be though, around mindset. That can be around feeling abundant love, feeling abundant worth, feeling, worthy of abundance. And so it can be a mindset. So let's not lose sight of that. But it does feel physical for a lot of you. So it does feel like, some kind of settlement, some kind of judgment, some kind of inheritance. This could tie in with whatever came in for you in March and April. So if there was some kind of settlement or something like that, then all of a sudden in May you get that you receive that settlement. There's just this feeling of something in the physical, something in the tangible coming in for you that feels very, very abundant. So again, it could also be you getting some kind of promotion, getting a new job. Although this doesn't feel like earned income. This feels like money coming, other people's money. Okay, so. But that could also include clients. So this could be like you get a rush of clients coming in who now are, that is technically other people's money and they're paying you for a service. And so, yeah, but there's just this feeling of incredible wealth and abundance coming in for you. So really enjoy that. I feel like May, June, and July are going to be kind of centered around finances, money, material things, that sort of thing. So the tangibles, so interesting energy. But yeah, May feels very abundant. So however that comes in for you. And it feels physical, though for some of you it may be mental, but I feel like it's very physical. Then we move into June, and it's interesting. Now there's this kind of energy around patience and understanding that you don't have the full story. So again, we move back into that exploration energy. So it's kind of like maybe now you have the resources, financial or whatever, so that you can travel, you can go on a new adventure to help you explore. It feels like whatever you would go on would be associated with allowing, would be relevant for your rebuilding stage, right? So it's like it's meant to incorporate that exploration and to broaden your mind and to broaden your horizons and all of that. But there is this level of kind of slowing down a little bit in June and regaining your patience and understanding that it's not, that you are not fully in control of the situation, that this is a partnership, a co-creation partnership with Source, with your higher consciousness. And so knowing that you are on the right path, you are doing what you need to do, you're showing up and allowing the universe to do the same. So again, you may have this call in June to release your grip a little bit and release that control. If things aren't moving as quickly as you would like them to this month, just understand that there is a reason for that. And there is such a thing as divine timing. And you may be just being asked to wait for a reason. So pack your patience in June and try to move through that energy as well as you can. But just remember, sometimes we're just being called to surrender and release our grip a little bit so that the things that want to come into us and the opportunities that want to flow to us can do so without us trying to control the situation. Okay. Then we move into July, and again, there's just kind of there's this energy of like mastering your resources. It feels very physical. It does feel, it just feels like resources, not necessarily just money, but there's this energy of kind of like if in the past you have felt overwhelmed or like your resources were in control of you, or if you were in a mindset of lack or something like that, it's kind of like you're stepping into this power of getting control of that energy, of getting control of your mindset around lack, of getting control of your mindset around feeling unworthy and that sort of thing, but also getting a game plan in place for longevity. So if you came into a significant amount of money in May, then coming up with a plan so that that can be sustainable for you and so that you don't fall into an extreme of overspending or giving all that away or, whatever, to charities or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that. But again, remember, it's about balance. And so you also want to make sure that you are set up for the long haul. So, but then also not hoarding the money. So see, it's a balance. It's a dance really, but it's an energetic dance. So I do feel like for July though, you're kind of getting that under control. That could be for some of you that you are learning to work with a budget and live within your means and that sort of thing, while also having visions for the future and what you want to attain. But it does feel like you've there's almost this sense of gratification and fulfillment in July, where it's like you have made a major milestone within your life, and you feel kind of in control of your circumstances as opposed to your circumstances being in control of you. So interesting energy in July. But it feels very physical, feels very tangible, feels like money, that sort of thing, a money energy coming in. Then in August, it's really beautiful energy. Actually, it's this feeling of contentment, but feeling confident in your choices and confident in knowing that you're on the right path. And even if you're not where you want to be long term, you're where you need to be in the moment, and it feels right. And I like that energy for 33s, because a lot of times, we all suffer with self-doubt, but that can come in strongly for 33s, especially if you're overdoing it for other people, like if you're overly showing up or any of that stuff. And so it feels like you're in a good place in August where things feel really content for you. That doesn't mean that in the external there's not still chaos or whatever's going on, but you found your happy medium. You found your level of happiness from within, and you feel there's just a sense of feeling confident in your decisions and your choices, and that you're on the right path. So embrace that and trust that. Then as we move into September, again, we're back to this energy of some kind of financial resource coming in for you. It's interesting. You guys 2021 for 33s feels very physically driven, almost like, again, kind of that money energy and resources, and taking advantage of those resources in a positive way, and really getting a lot of opportunities to increase your resources and how you use them. So interesting. But as we move into September, there's this new offer coming in for you. It feels like new energy. It feels like a new idea, maybe a new building block coming in. Remember, we're in this exploration energy. So again, it feels like maybe you get a new job offer, you get a new opportunity to collaborate with somebody or work with somebody in some way. And you're meant to explore this. Who knows what will come of it. It actually feels not necessarily like long-term energy. It feels a little bit like you're meant to explore it and then release it, but that it's going to bring you some level of satisfaction, okay? And so again, if this is like a new contract that you can do for like 6 months or something like that, then this is a really good opportunity for you. This doesn't, like I said, this doesn't feel like something that's going to be long-term. So it does feel, though, that it's going to bring you some happiness, some stability in the moment, that sort of thing, some security. So, and bring you some passion and joy. So yeah, I would say if it comes in for you, then say yes to it if it feels right. But understand that it's not necessarily something that's going to be a long-term thing, okay? This could also be around relationships, although it feels more money or job driven, but it could be around relationships. So if you meet somebody at this time, it could be that this is more like a quicker relationship, an experience, and not meant to last the long haul. So not saying that for every relationship, but that could potentially come in for you in September, that this is just an experience. So enjoy the experience. Then we move into October, and now we can see things starting to pick up. It's like you are sitting at the helm of your ship, and maybe in the past where that ship was being thrown around by the rocky seas, all of a sudden now you're at the helm and you're in control, and you are driving that ship forward towards land, right? So there's this really beautiful energy, which I love to see for 33s. I love to see this connection between your higher consciousness to source, and also that groundedness. And I do see that in October for a lot of you, where you're really feeling in your groove, in your momentum, and you're feeling like an open channel. You're feeling like connected to source, but also connected to the earth, and able to bring those ideas and visions into the physical reality. And it's kind of like, again, it's almost like when you say yes to that and can overcome any fear associated with that and recognize your potential and recognize your capabilities. Once you can do that, then we move into November. It's almost like October is preparing you for, once you say yes, then it's preparing you for the energy of November, which is like this really fast moving, inspiration and communication and new ideas coming in, that new opportunities coming in, lots of them that will assist you on your, whatever it is that you want to rebuild, whatever it is you want to work towards. It could be relationship related, but it's like kind of like October is you getting settled in being at the helm of your own life and standing in your own truth and finding your center, following your intuition, all that yumminess. Then we move into November, and it's like, now once you said yes, the universe conspires to support you. And now it's just tons of opportunities coming in for you, lots of fast forward moving energy, and just a lot of options, which I really like to see. So a lot of options coming in for you, and it's up to you what you choose to say yes to. As you move into December, it's interesting. It's almost like October, you're kind of being prepared. You just have to say yes. Once you say yes, come November, then all these options are coming in for you, insights, inspirations, opportunities. And then come December, it's like whatever you say yes to in November and October, whatever you choose to use as your building blocks. It's interesting. It's kind of like come December, there's a slight redirect, a slight change in course, but it's a really positive change of course. Now, I feel like for some of you, you're going to choose the path less traveled. And as we know, that's always a little intimidating, a little scary, and sometimes challenging. But it brings us our greatest rewards. And so when we step outside of our comfort zone, that's where our greatest rewards lie. That's where the greatest growth and transformation lie. And in turn, the most amount of happiness and fulfillment for us and our soul. So I do feel like December is going to bring you a change in direction that is going to move you down a new path that can feel a little scary and feel a little intimidating, but it's kind of like once you know, and you can't go back to the way things were. So as much as you want to turn around and go back into your safety gate, you just can't do it. You're just not going to be able to do it, at least not long term. Some of you may be like, you know what, I'm not ready to take on this big journey. So I'm just going to go back to my comfort zone of what I know. And you might go back to that, but eventually the suffering of that unfulfillment is going to get to be so much that you'll be ready to take the journey on. And that journey is going to lead you to something that is much more aligned, much more fulfilling. And even though it can be a little challenging in the process, okay, it's fully illuminated, it's fully supported. So yeah, I just see this energy of going on a new journey that you don't have the full roadmap yet, right? You just know the destination and you just know the starting point, but you don't have the full story. And so you're meant to take a leap of faith and trust in yourself and the universe and the resources that show up for you, and just go. Just move forward. So interesting energy. So I'll be curious to see what 2022 holds for 33s, because I do feel like you're starting this new journey, but trust me, you've got all the resources, all the tools, all the inner strength that you need to be able to do this new journey. And where it's taking you is towards your next greatest adventure. Okay. All right. I hope that 2021 comes in for you gently, but transformatively. And I hope that it's a great year of exploration. Take care for now.